Hello and welcome. My name is Christina from Empowered Creator. I'm a mindset and conscious manifesting teacher and coach, and this is my YouTube channel. Here I talk about all things law of assumption, mindset, conscious manifesting, the quantum universe, and a lot more. And my goal is to simplify everything without the fluff. So if you guys like this content and you would like to see more of it, I would love it if you would subscribe to this channel, comment on this video, like it, share it, and just stick around. Also, if you need any help with your specific situation, I offer one-on-one coaching, email coaching, small group coaching, as well as custom subliminals for whatever needs you may have. So if you're interested in any of these services, the links are below in the description box. Click on them and they're going to take you to my website. With all that being said, let's dive into today's video. In today's video, we're going to dispel some of the most common myths, limiting beliefs, and misconceptions when it comes to manifesting. And I asked you guys in a community post to give me some ideas of what you would like me to address, what kind of limiting beliefs, what kind of myths, what kind of misconceptions about manifesting. So you guys gave me a lot of ideas, so I have a compilation of all the things that you've told me. So this is what we're going to address today in this video. Stay tuned. Okay, so today's video might be a lot of things, so I want to jump straight into it. I've written down everything. If I've forgotten anything or left anything out, feel free to ask me in the comments. So without further ado, let's get to the first one. Manifestation should not take longer than X amount of time. For example, 2 weeks, a month, 3 weeks. I'm sure you've heard it all. So there are some coaches out there are some people out there who say, if your manifestation is taking longer than 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, 3 months, whatever they say, you are doing something wrong. So why is this a limiting belief? Why is it a misconception? Well, it's because manifestation actually happens when we shift within. And how long it takes each person to shift within depends on a lot of things. It depends on their resistance. It depends on how long it takes them to detach from the old story. And that is a process that for some people is very easy. For some people is very fast. For some other people, it takes a little more work, a little more persistence. So there is no telling how long it's going to take each person to actually shift within and start truly living in the end dominantly. Also, sometimes certain bridges need to form in the 3D for our manifestations to come. So it is a big misconception, a big myth that manifestation has to take X amount of time. Otherwise, if it's been this amount of time and it's not here yet, you're doing something wrong. Please don't listen to that. It's false, it's wrong, it's not true. Now, sometimes you're also going to hear the opposite. For example, it takes at least 30 days for manifestations to happen. It takes at least 90 days for manifestations to happen. I don't know where this comes from. I don't know where these coaches or whoever says that gets that from. That is also false. That is also wrong. Manifestations can and do happen instantly. They can and do happen on the same day, on the next day, on the same week. No, absolutely not. They don't need 30 days, 90 days, 3 months, 6 months, however long. Just as there is no telling on how long it's going to take for someone to shift within, there is also no telling and there's nothing to say that a manifestation cannot happen very fast or even instantly. So please, whenever you hear something about time on either end of the spectrum, whether that it needs to take this short amount of time, and if it's not here by now, you're doing something wrong, or it needs to take at least this amount of time, please don't listen to any of these. Both of these are misconceptions. Both of these are myths. Another one that we hear from time to time is that manifestations cannot come. You cannot manifest what you want unless you heal first, unless you fully heal your traumas from the past, your patterns, your subconscious problems, this or that. The reason why this is a misconception is because you're actually healing, you're actually improving your assumptions, your beliefs, you're shifting your assumptions and beliefs as you go along. And as you shift those, as you shift your perspective, as you shift your perceptions of reality, as you shift the ways you think, the ways you react, the ways you respond to things, this is where you put your consciousness. And what manifests in the 3D is in direct relation to where you put your consciousness on, what you focus on, what you put your attention on. And so the healing, or what some people call healing, actually happens as you start changing your assumptions about yourself, about others, about your desires, as you start changing your beliefs, as you start changing your assumptions, As you start not getting as triggered by things that used to trigger you before, all this is healing. And since your consciousness is changing, since what you have within you is actually changing and shifting, you are going to be seeing manifestations in the 3D, because that is what is reflecting your new, your updated, if you will, self-concept and your new and updated consciousness. The next one is that you need techniques to manifest. I've talked about that before. You do not strictly need techniques to manifest. What manifests is your state, your dominant inner state, your dominant inner energies, your dominant inner assumptions, and your dominant inner beliefs. So the techniques, all they do is they actually help you get into the state of the wish fulfilled, get into a better state, feel better, start feeling less triggered by the 3D or by the past or by past circumstances. But it's not the techniques that manifest, it's you who manifests, it's your state that manifests your 3D reality and your 3D experience. The techniques are a helpful tool if you have resistance to something. They can help you overcome this resistance. They can help get you into the wish fulfilled. But no, you don't strictly need any techniques to actually manifest what you want. And tied into that, whenever you hear that you need this or that technique to manifest, I say run. Because like I just said, it's not the techniques that manifest. It's you, it's your state, it's your dominant inner energy. The techniques only help get you into that state, into that energy. So you can feel free to choose whatever technique or whatever combination of techniques works best for you, what comes most naturally for you, what comes easiest for you, and go with that. Our goal is to get into the desired state. Our goal is not the technique. So whenever you hear, oh, you need to use this technique, you have to use that technique because nothing else manifests, that is a big myth, that is a big misconception, that is a big, big, big limiting belief. The next one is something that I know a lot of you wonder about, quite a lot, and that is, if I doubt or if I spiral, am I delaying my manifestation? And I am here to tell you that some spiraling, some wavering, some doubting is very, very normal. It goes hand in hand with our human nature, whether we like it or not. And no, unless you make that your dominant state for a long time, you have nothing to worry about. A little doubt here and there, a little wavering here and there, even some spiraling here and there is not a problem. And if you want to even reinforce that even more, you can actually tell yourself that it doesn't matter, even if I'm having an off day, even if I'm having some bad feelings, even if I'm having thoughts that I don't like, they don't mean anything, I'm still getting my manifestation no matter what and regardless. So do what you can, obviously, to get yourself into a better state if you're not feeling good. Do what you can to not spiral for like days and days and weeks because you don't want to make that your dominant state. But some wavering here and there, some doubting here and there, even some spiraling here and there is not going to affect your manifestation. It's probably not even going to delay it. It's not going to do anything to it, okay? The next one is also a very common one. It's about dropping the desire. In order to manifest what you want, you need to drop the desire. This is a huge misconception because if you want something, how can you drop the desire? Now, you can change your mind. Sometimes that happens. That's fine if that happens to you. But if you actually still want what you want, how can you actually drop the desire? You can't. What you want to do instead is actually getting yourself over and over into a state of feeling the way you would feel if you had your desire right now. How would you be thinking? How would you be feeling? What you would be assuming? What you would be believing? Things like that. If you get yourself into this state and you practice it over and over and over again, and you get into a feeling of dominantly knowing that your desire is yours and that it is coming into your 3D, then that is the equivalent of dropping the desire. You are dropping the obsession. You are dropping the neediness for it. You don't drop the desire. You still desire it. You still want it. But you realize that you can have it, that you already have it. And so you actually drop the neediness for it. Okay? You don't need to drop the desire, so don't worry about that. Now, the next one is that you have to affirm X amount of times for your subconscious mind to be impressed. And I know this was very trendy a few months ago. Actually, it was very trendy when I was first starting this channel. The 10K affirmations or 20K affirmations or whatever. And I'm here to tell you that if this is what you want to do, if that makes you feel good, if that gives you a feeling of relief, of confidence, if that calms you down, then by all means do it. However, if it feels forced, if it feels like hard work, if it feels like too much effort, it probably is. So don't feel like you have to repeat an affirmation or a technique or whatever X amount of times so that it can be impressed into your subconscious mind. From my experience, if you actually accompany these techniques, this whatever you're doing, with some feeling it in that moment as if it was happening right then this is a shortcut way to actually impress your subconscious mind. Because your subconscious mind, among other things, learns from feelings. It learns from how you feel about things, okay? It cannot tell truth from lie. It cannot tell true from false. So if you help your subconscious feel what you would feel like if your desire was true right now, your subconscious is going to be impressed much faster and much easier, and I guarantee you, you're not going to need the 10,000 times, the 10,000 repetitions. Another great one is that you always need to be high vibe in order to manifest what you want. I take high vibe to mean that you always need to be happy, you always need to be upbeat, you always need to be thinking positively and all that, and that couldn't be further from the truth. First of all, no human being can ever be happy all the time. We cannot be positive 100% of the time because things do happen. Sometimes we get upset, sometimes we get stressed out about something, sometimes we just wake up on the wrong side of the bed and we're not in a good mood. Whatever it is, we cannot be tying our moods with our manifestation. You don't need to be always happy to manifest. I can tell you from personal experience, I've manifested many things that have come to me in moments where I was feeling down, in moments where I was feeling doubtful. Like I said earlier, you want to do yourself a favor and actually don't attach any negative, any unfavorable meanings to any unpleasant feelings that you may be having. So if you're having an off day, if you're having an off week, just tell yourself, okay, it will pass. It doesn't mean anything about my manifestation. I'm still getting it no matter what. And that actually removes that whole misconception and that whole perceived need to always be happy in order to get what you want, okay? The next one is that in order to manifest what you want, you need to feel it real. So let me give you my interpretation of that and let me tell you why that is a misconception, the way it's presented a lot of the time. First of all, feeling it real doesn't mean fooling yourself. It doesn't mean pretending. It doesn't mean lying to yourself. All it means is that when you're practicing, whatever it is that you're practicing, your imaginal acts, however you're practicing, you are getting feelings as if things were real right now, as if your desire was real right now. And these feelings can be something like relief, something like fulfillment, something like confidence, something like calmness and reassurance. So if you're getting any sort of these kinds of feelings, even neutrality, even if you're feeling neutral and just feel fine and just calm and reassured, that is the feeling of the wish fulfilled, and that is feeling it real. So you don't need to go into any great lengths to actually get any elated emotions. You don't need to actually tell yourself that it's real right now and live as if it's real right now. Now, if you can, great, but most people can't. And so don't push yourself to actually believe something that you don't yet see in your 3D. What you want is just practice those feelings as if it were real. And believe me, your subconscious mind is getting the message, is getting impressed. If you practice that feeling over and over and over again, practice getting into that state over and over again, it is getting the message and it is going to push it out for you. And the last one is the whole question about, do other people have free will or not? So I made a video about that the other day. I would invite you to go and watch it if you haven't watched it. But very briefly, I'm going to say here, it is not a matter of free will. It is not a matter of controlling other people's mind or them being puppets and us just dictating what they're doing. It has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with all of us being mirrors of each other. We're here in this world. We're all part of one consciousness. We're all interacting with one another. And what we're doing as we're interacting is that we're mirroring each other's dominant energies, dominant assumptions, dominant beliefs, dominant expectations. And so from that point of view, in that sense, None of us truly has free will beyond what we choose our state to be and what we choose to identify with. Otherwise, we're always constantly 24/7 mirroring one another. We are subconsciously always receiving each other's dominant inner energies and dominant inner states. And that's what we mirror to each other. And this is why when you're manifesting a specific person, we say that it really, really matters what your perceptions are of that specific person, how you see the relationship, how you see them, how you see yourself in relation to them, because these are the dominant energies that they subconsciously receive from you, and this is what they are subconsciously compelled to mirror back to you. It's as simple as that. It's not a matter of free will. It's not a matter of bending anyone's free will or controlling anyone's free will. It's a matter of what are you projecting to that person? What is that person receiving from you? And what are they mirroring back to you? That's all it is. That's all it is. So I hope we can settle this argument about free will once and for all. With all that being said, I'm going to wrap up this video here. I intend that this has helped. As always, I very much appreciate you guys being on this channel, watching this content. I love making this content for you. And as always, I look forward to seeing you all at the next video. Until then, take care and bye-bye.